Remember, a Hallmark card will best express your perfect taste, your thoughtfulness.
The makers of Hallmark greeting cards bring you a dramatic story of a girl, a priest, and a killer. Our star, one of Hollywood's fine actors, John Garfield.
Hallmark cards take great pride in the cards they make for you. That's why at Christmas and all through the year, so many million folks prefer Hallmark cards. They're so carefully designed, so beautifully made, they're always proud to sign your name to them. So this year, when you select your Christmas cards, visit your Hallmark dealer and look in the back of the cards you buy for those 3 identifying words, a Hallmark card. 3 little words that will tell your friends you cared enough to send the very best. You'll enjoy shopping at Hallmark dealers. They've been carefully selected to assure you of courtesy and friendly service. Now to preside over our program, here is your Hallmark host, Les Tremaine.
Thank you, Tom Shirley, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure for me to welcome back for a return appearance on our program one of Hollywood's best bad men, John Garfield.
Thanks, Les. But what about this best bad man stuff? That's a tough introduction to live up to.
Well, you're a tough citizen, Johnny.
Not when I get a story like this one tonight. This is a corker.
Well, from you, that's praise. Aren't you the fellow who walked out of a nice, cushy star role on Broadway to take a bit part in another play because you like the idea behind it?
Well, what's the use of doing something unless you believe in it?
None. Only it isn't always easy to find.
Say, Les, excuse me, but I've heard John Garfield likes to hunt and fish, and I've been wanting to show him our new Hallmark hunting and fishing cards for men.
Well, this sounds a little like you're the one who's fishing, Tom. You want to talk some more about Hallmark cards?
No, really, I just want to show these to John.
Well, I don't want to disappoint you, Tom, but I've already seen them. And I know what you mean. Those cards featuring field and stream illustrations are exactly the thing to excite any man around this time of the year.
Well, John, I think any sportsman will say that when he sees these attractive new cards. Thanks a lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, the makers of Hallmark greeting cards present on the Reader's Digest radio edition the strange and thrilling story based on an actual incident of Death Across the Table, starring John Garfield.
Maybe you'd have done it different. Maybe you'd have told her you were broke and there wasn't enough money in the bank to last another month. That's what I should have done. Only I'm a thick-headed guy who promises a girl the moon when he marries her, and when the moon isn't there, I keep reaching for it just the same. That's what happens when you got a pretty wife who needs pretty clothes and things, just to get along. You haven't got the heart to tell her about the job you lost, or the overcoat you hocked to pay the rent, or the 5s and 10s you've been borrowing from your mother to keep your head above water.
Any luck, Joe? Find a job yet?
No, not yet, Mom. Well, what are you looking at me that way for? What's wrong?
Nothing. I just think you look all tired out today. Did you and Millie have a fight or something?
Don't be crazy, Mom. You know I don't fight with Millie. We haven't had an argument since we've been married.
Have you told her you haven't got a job yet?
What's the good of telling her my troubles, Mom? She didn't marry me so I could cry on her shoulder.
Maybe she'd like it better if you did.
Maybe she'd walk out on me, too. I wouldn't want her to think she'd come down any just because she married me. Will you quit looking at me that way?
Joe, there's something on your mind.
Sure, there's something on my mind. I'm up to my neck in debts. I haven't got a job. You're not the only one I owe money to.
Well, if you just go and...
Mom, will you stop it? I was in tough shape for a while there, but I put over a big deal today, and that's going to tide me over.
A big deal?
Yeah, with a friend of mine. Who's that?
Joe, you're so nervous.
Oh, for crying out loud. Stop paying so much attention to me.
All right, I'm coming.
Mrs. Hagen?
Yes?
Is your son here? I'm from the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Joe!
What do you want with me?
Are you Joseph Hagen?
That's right.
We picked up your partner about an hour ago, Hagen. You better come with me.
What for?
You'll have to answer some questions about a stolen car that was driven across the state line.
What's that got to do with me?
Come along, Hagen. I have a warrant for your arrest. You may go in and see your husband now, Mrs. Hagen. He's waiting for you.
Thank you, officer. Hello, Joe.
Hello, honey.
They told me you were arrested for...
Yeah, a stolen car.
You didn't steal it, did you, Joe?
I wish I could answer that the right way, sweetheart. It's harder to tell you than it was to tell them.
How could you, Joe? How could you do it?
I don't know. It didn't seem like I was doing it till it was all over. Then it was too late to go back and...
But stealing... You're not like that.
I guess nobody is till they do it honest. I'm no crook.
Well, that's what I can't understand. Why did you do it? Why didn't you tell me we needed the money?
There were so many things I wanted to buy you. Nice things.
Joe.
Oh, you look so pretty in nice things,
That's
Millie.
no reason to steal.
I know.
If you were thinking about me, why didn't you think about the way I'd feel when you were caught? How would you feel if I'd stolen something, Joe?
I don't blame you for being mad, Millie. I wouldn't blame you if you never talked to me again.
Maybe I wouldn't if I wasn't your wife. The only trouble is, I'm still in love with you.
I was hoping you'd say that, honey. Say it again, will you? Loud, so I won't ever forget what it sounds like.
Oh, what's the good of talking, Joe? What are we going to do?
Oh, we'll start all over again. If they give me another chance, and if they don't, well, you'll stick with me, won't you, baby?
Yes, I'll stick, Joe.
Then it won't be so bad. No matter what happens, cheer up, sweetheart. If we hope hard enough, well, maybe they'll let me off with a light sentence.
Court has found you guilty of grand larceny. It is my duty to sentence you to no less than 3, but no more than 5 years in the federal penitentiary.
Time goes slow when you're stuck in a cell with nothing but a picture and a calendar to remind you of the life you had once had on the outside. When you get a letter from home, you read it 100 times. Till the paper gets worn and wrinkled from carrying it around. Then you read it some more and some more.
You're a heck of a cellmate, Hagen, reading your mail all the time.
Huh?
For crying out loud, will you put that letter down, talk to a guy for a change? Going with you is like being in solitary.
Well, what's the matter, Casey? Jealous because I get the letters from my wife and you don't?
Ah, jealous my eye. If I ever got a letter from my wife, I'd throw it in the ash can. Little two-time, I'd like to throw her there, too.
Not if she wrote you letters like this.
Oh, holy smite, gotta read that again?
You haven't heard this one, Casey. Listen. Dear Joe, having you away from home is like being in prison myself. I never knew how much it meant to me. Just seeing you every day, just loving you, just knowing you're always there whenever I want you.
That sounds just like the last one to me.
Listen, will you? I do want you, Joe.
Hagen.
Yes, sir?
Letter for you, Hagen. Special delivery.
Oh, thanks.
Don't mention. Oh, Christmas. Another one?
Oh, this one isn't for my wife.
Oh, that's good. They won't have to read it to me. What's the problem?
Oh, a friend of mine. I asked him to kind of look out for Millie while I was...
What's the matter, kid? Bad news?
Yeah,
What happened?
nothing. Nothing.
Oh, come on. Get it off your chest, huh? You can spell it to me.
It's my wife, Casey. She's going around with another guy.
Is that what it says in the letter?
Oh, read it. She's playing him for all he's worth, going to dances with him, bowling, everything. I'm never saying a word.
See, they're all the same, Joe.
Oh, shut up.
Well, I didn't mean...
Shut up, I said.
All right.
I could understand it if she was ashamed of me or something, but writing me the way she did all the time, writing me one thing and doing another, that's what I can't understand.
I'll take it easy, Joe. She might be going around with this guy because she's lonesome.
That isn't what the letter says. She's stuck on him, going out with him all the time. Honest, Casey, if she's double-crossing me, I'll...
What's going on in there, Hagen?
Oh, nothing. Just reading my letters.
Well, read them quiet.
Yeah, I will. Dear Joe, having you away from home is like being in prison. I never knew how much it meant to me. Just seeing you every day. Just loving you. Just knowing you were always there if I ever wanted you. Dear Mom, I gotta know the truth. I don't care how much it hurts. I gotta know the truth. If she's playing around with this guy, tell me. Only tell me quick. Because I gotta know about her. I've gotta know.
You may have 20 minutes, Mrs. Hagen.
Thank you.
Hello, Mom.
Joey. How are you, Joey?
I'm all right, Mom. You didn't have to come all the way down here. You could have written a letter.
I wanted to come down, son, so you wouldn't misunderstand.
Oh, what's the story? Is she really stuck on this guy? Is she really double-crossing me?
She's very young, Joe.
Never mind how young she is. Tell me the truth.
But the truth is she's very young. She don't know her own mind half the time, and ever since you've been
Well, give it to me straight, Mom. Is she lying to me or isn't she?
Well, maybe she hasn't the heart to tell you the truth.
I thought so.
Don't let her hurt you, Joey. Not anymore. It won't do any good to eat your heart out.
But if she says she
Forget
loves me...
about her, Joe. Just make believe she wasn't ever there.
Okay, Mom. Okay. I'll forget about her. For a while, anyway. But I'll be getting out of here one of these days. And when I do, she won't forget about me.
We'll be back in just a moment with the second act of tonight's drama from the pages of the Reader's Digest, America's favorite magazine, presented by the makers of Hallmark Cards, America's favorite greeting cards. And now, here's Tom Shirley.
She's cute, she's pretty, she's 6 inches high. She's the Queen of Hearts, the latest Hallmark doll of the week. And like the other vivacious, colorful dolls in the Hallmark collection, she's dressed in the gayest colors. She stands up by herself, and inside, she tells her own happy little story in the brightest rhyme. Like all the other dolls in Hallmark's land of make-believe, the Queen of Hearts is sure to bring that wide grin of delight to a child's face. So visit your friendly Hallmark dealer today. Send the Queen of Hearts to your favorite young folks for their Hallmark doll collections. Remember, it costs so little to make a child happy, for Hallmark dolls are only 25 cents. So see them soon and send them often. And be sure to listen next week to see who the next Hallmark doll of the week will be. And now back to your Hallmark host, Les Tremaine.
Our program continues now with the second act of tonight's stirring drama, Death Across the Table, starring John Garfield.
Compared to the stretch Casey was doing, 3 years isn't a long time, but for me it was plenty. Most guys can't wait to get on the outside because it means living again. But I was looking forward to that day for a different reason. Millie was out there with another man. And as soon as my time was up, I was going to get even with her no matter what it cost. That's why I couldn't sleep much that last week I was there. And all the night before I left, I couldn't sleep at all.
Joe, will you stop walking around and go to bed? It's 4 o'clock in the morning.
I know it.
What's the matter, kid? Thinking about tomorrow?
Wouldn't you? You'd be getting out of here in the morning, you'd be turning your handsprings all night.
Yeah, sure, only you ain't turning handsprings. You act like you don't want to get out.
Maybe I don't. Maybe it'd be a lot better if I stayed right here for the rest of my life.
Take it small, Joe. There ain't a dime in the world worth blowing your top for. Especially one like that.
Shut up.
No, I mean it, Joe.
Keep quiet or I'll choke the life out of
Joe. Joe, take your hands off me, will you, Joe? Joe, take your hands off. Joe.
I'm sorry, Casey. I'm sorry. I got so many things on my mind. I keep forgetting where I am or who my friends are.
All right, skip it.
Casey.
Yeah.
You gotta help me, Casey. You gotta dig it out of me before it's too late. I'm gonna kill her if you don't.
Joe.
The minute I see her, I'm gonna kill her.
Stop it, you punk. You're talking crazy.
I can't help it. I can't get out of my mind anymore. I just picture her staring at me wherever I look. Her and that guy, they're inside of my...
You're rating yourself up, Hagen. Now, calm down. We didn't get those crazy ideas out of your head.
I'm gonna kill her, Casey.
Now, don't be a chump.
As soon as I get out of here, I'm gonna kill her. I'm gonna kill her.
All right. If you want to wreck everything, I can't stop you.
Nobody can. She's gonna get what she deserves, Casey. A bullet right through the heart.
Just a minute. What? Why, Mom.
Hello, Millie. Surprised to see me?
Well, you haven't been over here in such a long time. Oh, come in, won't you?
Thanks. I wouldn't have bothered you at all, except that Joe's getting out today. And I was worried about what you were going to do when he gets home.
Well, Mom, I've been meaning to talk to you about Joe. You see, I know where I stand now.
Where?
Right here. Right where I belong. Oh, I know you think I'm a fool for running around the way I did, but that's all over now. It was all over before it began.
What do you mean?
I never really cared anything about George Davis. I thought I did for a while. Because he was the only one who was decent to me after Joe went to prison. He didn't treat me like I was the wife of a convict, and the first thing you know, I was going out with him.
Oh, Millie. Millie, why didn't you tell me?
Oh, I didn't do anything wrong. And now that it's over, well, Joe and I can be happier than we ever were before. You still love him, Millie. Why, of course, Mom. I love him more than ever.
A gun. You heard what I said. I want a gun. Matthew Dykes told me I could buy one from you with no questions asked.
All right. I just wanted to make sure you were okay. I'll give you the gun.
Well, make it snappy. I gotta catch a train in 20 minutes.
Hello?
Hello. Millie, this is me, Joe.
Why, Joe, where are you?
Right around the corner from where I've been for the last 3 years. I just got out, baby, and I'm coming right home.
Gee, that's swell, honey. I wish...
Listen, kid, my train gets in at 11:28, and I want you to be at the station. Do you hear?
I'm sure, Joe, I'll be there, but why are you calling?
Do like I say, Millie. It's important.
But, Joe, there's something I want to tell you.
Save it, will you? I gotta run now. I'll miss the train. See you later, huh?
Well, sure, Joe.
Don't forget, Millie. I'll be looking for you at the station. It was raining when I got on the train, coming down in buckets and splashing against the windows, especially in the diner. When I sat down for a cup of coffee, I had the gun in a holster under my arm. And while I was thinking about what I was going to do with it later, somebody came over to my table. When I looked up, I saw it was a minister.
Mind if I sit down?
Huh?
No objections, I hope. People usually shy away from clergymen, but we do have to eat, you know.
Yeah.
It's a frightful night, isn't it?
Yeah.
You from this part of the country?
No.
Well, I'm not very familiar with it myself, but
What's the matter? What are you looking at?
Why, I was rather startled by that holster under your shoulder. Are you a detective?
No.
Oh. Well, I suppose it's none of my business.
You just what?
I just thought you were a detective.
Why? Because I carry a gun? I got a permit.
I see.
Don't you believe me?
I haven't any reason not to, have I?
No.
Forgive me for interfering, my friend, but if you're in some sort of trouble, perhaps I can help you.
Who said I was in any trouble?
Well, nobody, I guess. If you are...
Please mind your business, Padre.
Oh, yes, of course.
And keep out of mine.
Conductor.
Yes, sir?
Do you remember the gentleman I was sitting with in the diner?
Well, now, let me see. Oh, yes.
Do you know who he is?
Well, I don't know his name, but he got on at Atlanta. And from the looks of him, I'd say he'd just come out of the federal penitentiary down there.
Penitentiary?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of them in my day. I can always spot an ex-con by the color of his face and the clothes he wears.
Well, I've got to find him right away. Can you help me?
Sure, I'll find him for you. What's wrong?
I don't know, but I've got to speak to him before he gets off this train.
Were you looking for me, Padre? The conductor told me to come back here.
Yes. I wanted to talk to you.
I thought I told you to mind your own business.
But this is my business. I saw the gun you're carrying,
Look,
but I thought...
Padre, I don't want any interference from you or anybody else. I know what I'm doing.
Well, perhaps you do. Perhaps you'd rather solve this trouble in your own way, but I thought...
I'm not in any trouble. Just because I'm carrying a gun, it doesn't mean I'm in any trouble. I told you before, I got a permit.
Well, that's rather unusual for an ex-convict, isn't it?
Who told you that?
Sit down, my friend. I'm just trying to help you.
Well, I didn't ask you to. You don't mean nothing to me.
But you mean something to me, son. Now, what's bothering you?
Nothing.
Won't you tell me what it is? Sometimes we get all mixed up inside. And if we keep it to ourselves, we can't always be sure we're doing the right thing.
Let me alone, will you?
It may be too late if I let you alone.
What do you care?
Tell me, son. You know you need someone to help you.
Not you.
I may be the only one there is. Tell me, won't you? It won't go any farther than this room.
You mean that?
I said it, didn't I?
You swear you won't say a word about it to anybody? You swear on the Bible?
I give you my word, son. If you don't want me to, I won't tell a soul.
Okay, Padre, you asked for it. You know what I'm going to do with this gun? I'm going to use it on a cheap two-timing dame that hasn't got the right to live. As soon as I see her, I'm going to use it.
Why, son? Why would you want to kill anyone?
Because she's no good. She's my wife, and she's
Are
no
you
good.
passing judgment on her?
Sure, I'm passing judgment. I stole for her, didn't I? I went to prison for her. And all the time I was there, she was writing me love letters, going out with another guy.
And you're going to take a life for that?
What better reason do I have?
Well, you might think about yourself, son. If you kill her, they'll hang you for murder.
I don't care. I don't feel like living anyway. I'll use the gun on myself when I get through with her.
But committing a murder is never a solution to anything.
It is for me, and nobody's going to stop me. Do you hear? Nobody's going to stop
Not
me.
even the thought that you'll have to face your maker someday.
Save your breath, Padre. I don't go for that church stuff.
Just a minute. Wait a minute. You can't walk out of this room.
Sorry, Padre. I get off at this
Now, look
station.
here, young man. You sit right down there and listen to me a minute.
Huh?
Sit down, I said. You've been doing all the talking for a while. Now I'm going to do some. I'm going to tell you something about myself.
Listen, Padre.
No, you listen. You think you're talking to an experienced clergyman because I look old enough to be your father. Well, I am that old, perhaps, but I've been a minister less than 12 hours.
Who cares?
I was ordained in Atlanta this morning, just before I got on the train. I'm going to celebrate Holy Communion in New York Sunday morning in the church where I was confirmed.
Skip it, will you?
I won't
Skip
skip it. I've got just as much right to my life as you have to yours. I've wanted to be a clergyman ever since I was a little boy, and I've had to wait all these years.
What are you giving me, a sob story?
I'm telling you the truth. When I came aboard this morning, I was the happiest passenger on this train. My soul was in the clouds because I was God's priest at last. And then you come along, you with murder in your heart.
Don't you
see you wrecked everything for me before it even began? Why didn't the Lord send you to a more experienced minister? One who would know what to say to you and bring you to your senses. I failed miserably on my very first opportunity.
So what?
How do you think I'm going to feel standing at the altar Sunday morning? Bread and wine in my hand, and the thought of you in my mind. Every moment I'll be wondering if you've done it yet, if you've killed her, because I didn't know how to stop you.
Well, I don't know what I can do about
Well, compound it, and you know very well what you can do. You can go back to your wife and tell her you love her.
Who says I love her?
You do, and you know you do. That's why you stole for her. That's why you're so hurt now. Why you don't want to go on living.
Never mind about that.
She loved you, too. If she didn't, why did she write your love letters while you were in prison? Why didn't she just ditch you without writing any letters at all?
But she double-crossed me. She
What
double-crossed me.
did? Lots of men and women forgive each other things like that. They go on together, too, and find love and happiness for a whole lifetime.
You mean... forgive her?
Of course. Forgive her. You can make something out of your marriage. No matter what's happened in the past. You can make something of yourself, too.
Well,
I'll help you, son. And Almighty God will help.
Wait a second, will you? Give me a chance to think.
Go ahead. Think, son. Think now, while there's still time.
Well? What are you going to do, son? Have you made up your mind? Yeah. I made up my mind. Here's a present for you, Padre.
Present?
Yeah. Keep it. I won't have any use for it anymore.
The gun.
That's right. You just saved me from the craziest idea I ever had.
Bless you, son.
Bless you, Padre. Now you stand in the pulpit Sunday and preach your sermon. I've got a date with my wife.
Thank you, John Garfield. You might be interested to know what happened at the end of that story.
They lived happily ever after.
Yes, but the real story is the parson. He had dreamed of having a pleasant little community church. After the episode with Joe, he gave that up and went into prison work. He became one of the most successful prison chaplains in the country and found deep happiness in that work.
Well, he must have been a great guy. Tell me, Les, what goes on in the Hallmark program next week?
Next week, Johnny, we've got glamour. 100% American-made glamour.
That's for me. Who is she?
First, I'll tell you what she plays. A wonderful story about the Alaska Gold Rush. 1 girl versus 8 outlaws.
You interest me. Who's the girl?
Madeline Carroll.
Bravo. television can't come too soon. I'll be listening.
Ladies and gentlemen, you'll want to be with us next week as the makers of Hallmark greeting cards bring you one of the liveliest, tenderest, most amusing stories ever to come from the pages of the Reader's Digest. Gold is Where You Find It, starring Madeline Carroll.
We learned that thousands of youngsters wanted a safe and sound place to tuck away those cute little Hallmark dolls each night. So the Hallmark people have made a wondrous new treasure chest. First, you open the lid, and there's a merry story told in rhyme. Then you'll find a removable tray that's just perfect for protecting their Hallmark doll collection. What an enchanting gift for any child. For this wondrous treasure chest, complete with a set of 8 different dolls, is only $3. With 16 different dolls, it's just $5. And it comes all ready to mail. So, folks, visit your friendly Hallmark dealer tomorrow. Get a Hallmark treasure chest. John Garfield will soon be seen starring in the new Enterprise production, Body and Soul. Mr. Garfield was supported by Ted Osborne in the role of the Reverend and Vicki Lawler as Millie. Death Across the Table was dramatized by Robert Sloan from the true story written by Reverend H.W. Van Coenhoven, as it appeared in the Reader's Digest, America's favorite magazine. The Hallmark program was directed by Mark Sloan, with music especially composed by Jack Miller. This is Tom Shirley speaking for the makers of Hallmark greeting cards. Buy Hallmark dolls where you buy Hallmark cards. Remember, a Hallmark card will best express your perfect taste, your thoughtfulness.
Now, this is your Hallmark host, Les Tremaine, saying good night to you all until next week at the same time. See you then.
CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.